Come on in, everybody, for this next video for Married at First Sight, Season 15, Episode 12. And this video is going to be for Nate and Stacia. I've done videos on Alexis and Justin, videos on Ben and Morgan. At the end of this video, you can click on the link above my head and you can watch those videos. But we're about to start talking about Stacia and Nate. And oh my goodness, did you see those steamy sex scenes on the TV? Now, first of all of us have seen way more steamy things on TV than this. But I don't think we've ever seen it on Married at First Sight. I think that's what's getting me thinking, oh my goodness, when did we start doing this on Married at First Sight? This might not be so wholesome anymore. I hope none of y'all's kids was up this late. I guess it is 10 o'clock when some of these scenes started playing. So I think according to FCC rules, you can show that stuff after 9 p.m. Alexis can't get out the club and hanging in the club. Well, the club is at home with Nate and Stacia because he was darn near pulling her pants off, and it looked like he was about to perform oral sex on the camera. And then when they was in that thing where you're hanging from the door and they're doing all this humping on the door, a simulation, of course, I was like, oh, this is a lot. Honestly, I was a bit uncomfortable watching it, but you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and move past it because we want to get to what was the purpose of the exercise in the beginning. If you watch my other videos, I give Dr. Pia a thumbs up, actually 2 thumbs up with what she did with Alexis and Justin. I gave her a thumbs down because I don't think that she pulled out of Ben and Morgan what really need to be pulled out. Be sure to watch that video. And then when it comes to Stacia and Nate, I'm going to give her not an A, but I'm going to give her maybe like a B or a B minus or something like that. Because one thing that she did do, which I liked, is she made Stacia realize that her control issue and her trust issue go hand in hand. And what I also like this episode is Nate pointed it out as well. I really like Nate. Of all the people on the show, I'm telling you, Nate has some of the highest emotional intelligence out of all the people. He's the one over here calling Alexis a snitch and saying she's gossiping going to the club. And he points that out correctly. He's also pointing out with Morgan, why does she have so much hostility? I got that. And then what he did was he pointed out to his own wife and said, this trust issue you have is not a me thing, it's a you thing. Because in the beginning, what Nate was doing was he was the one doing all the moves to make Stacia comfortable. Like I told you in my last video last week, Nate is the MVP of this relationship because he's actually the one doing a lot of the work. What Stacia does is every time she feels uncomfortable, every time she has anxiety, every time she's having a trust issue, she comes up with something that Nate has to do, right? Sometimes it's things that he should be doing anyway, but a lot of times it's things she wants him to do. Last week, the thing he had to do was get a tattoo and tattoo their wedding date on their hand. That was Stacia's idea. That wasn't Nate's idea. He went along with it because once again, it's something that Stacia needs to feel comfortable and secure. But what Nate is saying is, listen, I'm not doing all the work anymore, and you need to seek help with Dr. Pia to figure out what your trust issues are, because the solution ain't always going to be me doing something. You need to do something, Stacia. If you listen to Stacia, she has one of the biggest problems when it comes to trust with wall people. And what she says is trust is earned, trust is not given. Nate says either you trust me or you don't, which is what Nate is saying is trust is given, it's not earned. And what Stacia's saying, oh no, I'm a fact checker, which means when you tell me something, I don't trust it, I have to fact check it, and then after I fact check it, then I'll trust you. Well, that's not trust. That's called fact checking. And the other problem with people who are trust is earned is that you have to earn their trust in a lot of areas. So what happens is they may trust you in one area, but then they don't trust you over here, or they don't trust you over here. So you never get out of this cycle, okay, of actually earning their trust, because they need every scenario to happen before they give you the all clear mark on that area. And herein is the problem with this exercise that Dr. Pia gave Nate and Stacia. What she said to Stacia was, your trust and your control issues go hand in hand. So what she says is, because you don't trust Nate, you also want to control Nate. So what she does is she gives him this exercise that says, well, if you can start releasing control, then that would allow you to trust Nate. It won't work. Because even if she develops trust in this bedroom situation or scenario, it doesn't mean that she will develop trust in other areas. Because what Stacia is saying is her trust is segmented. She doesn't just have trust overall, which is what Nate does. She segments her trust. So even if this exercise worked and she goes, oh, I trust Nate in the bedroom, it doesn't mean that she's going to trust Nate in all the other areas of her life. So it really doesn't address the whole root of the problem with Stacia, which is why I don't give Dr. Pia an actual A, because it's only going to solve possibly an issue with trust in one area, which is the bedroom. Stacia's control issue is not the root cause of her problem. It's a symptom. So just making her not feel like she has to control the situation doesn't allow her to fix what is the real root of her problem of wanting to control situations. And the real root is fear and anxiety, period. That's it. She's a scary person. I told you that people with walls are scary. They're not bold. They're not adventurous. They're none of those things. They're scary people. That's why they have walls. And when you don't trust a person and you have to maintain control, those are all protection mechanisms, because the real root is fear and anxiety. Stacia is fearful and has anxiety over outcomes of situations. She is fearful if the outcome isn't the way she wants it to be. She doesn't want to feel that. So because she doesn't want to feel that, she needs to control the situation to absolutely maintain the outcome. Stacia isn't just willing to let things happen as they happen, because that's too much anxiety for her. So she has to control the situation to control the outcome, because she's actually too fearful of any outcome that may happen that she doesn't have control over. And when she's controlling it, everyone feels as if that she doesn't trust them. It all goes hand in hand. But the real problem is her fear and her anxiety. In some ways, I feel sorry for Stacia, because she's in this loop, this cycle. You know, a lot of people say it. They say that, well, the reason why they're fearful or they don't trust people is because they've been hurt in the past or they've been disappointed in the past. Well, here's the thing. We've all been hurt and we've also been disappointed. But people handle situations differently. There is no monopoly anymore on hurt and disappointment. Every time someone has a story of how they've been hurt, I guarantee you there's someone else that has a bigger story than you. They've been hurt even more than you. So you have to ask yourself, can you keep using your stories of being hurt and disappointed as your reason to not be trusting people and also to have to be in complete control? You can't. Because you are not unique. We've all been hurt. We've all been disappointed. And like I told you, people with walls, they're actually continuing some of their victimization. Because what they do is, because they don't trust you and because they have to be in control of everything, people lie to them. So initially you may say, well, the reason I don't trust people is because I've been hurt and I've been lied to. Well, what happens is, now when you're out here in the world, people continue to lie to you because they realize you can't handle the truth. You can't handle outcomes that you don't want. What Stacia really needs to get to is she needs to get to a place where she's not fearful of an outcome. She's not fearful if things don't go her way. She's not fearful if things don't go exactly how she wants them. Because once you start to not be afraid of outcomes, then you won't feel the need to control the outcomes all the time. And then you won't have an issue with trusting people to take the lead and having them in control of an outcome because you don't fear the outcome. That's the real healing for Stacia. Because even if she develops trust in this sex area, this bedroom area, she won't trust Nate in other areas. It's always going to be, he's got to prove himself in every single area. And that's going to be a problem in their relationship. She has to go deeper and go to the real source of what her trust and control issues are all about, and I believe is based on fear of outcomes. But these sex scenes and these simulated, they were wild. I think somebody been dropping down in my comments saying there's a possibility that Stacia might already be pregnant. I wouldn't be surprised, because one thing about Stacia is she is goal oriented, and we all know she wants a baby. I would not be surprised if Stacia stopped taking that birth control medicine the minute she became a wife, because she already said she's not giving up the last name, and I wouldn't be surprised if they already working on a baby. I really wouldn't be surprised at it at all. Stacia's saying there is no way she's going back to the single market if this marriage doesn't work out without this last name and without a baby. I guarantee you. This couple might break the record on the person who gets pregnant the fastest. I think before, Jeffy and Shanice broke the record because they were pregnant, I think, by the time of the reunion. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens with Stacia and Nate as well. But I still like this couple. I think that whatever it is that comes their way, I think they can handle it. But I really hope that Stacia continues on this path and says, in order to tame her fear and anxiety, it isn't about Nate continuing to do more and more and more and more. Because people like Stacia are sometimes like a cup with a hole in it. It doesn't matter how much you pour into it. It doesn't matter how much you prove to them that you're trustworthy. There's always going to be scenarios, new scenarios, where they'll tell you, well, yeah, I trust you over here, but I don't trust you over here. And that's what keeps you in a cycle, continually having to prove yourself to people who are fearful and who have anxiety. I hope Stacia gets this point. So for this couple, with Dr. Pia, I give her a B, because she at least led Stacia to the well to make her drink from the water, of telling her that her fear and control, or her trust issues and control, were one and the same. But she needs to go one layer deeper and realize that it's just not in one area, it's in all the area. And she cannot require Nate continually to have to do more and more and more and more for him to earn her trust. He should be given her trust, because Nate has done nothing to betray her trust. He should be starting with a clean slate. He should not be starting 10 feet in the ground and having himself dig out that hole. That's it, y'all. What do you think? Drop down in the comments and tell me what you think. Talk to you later. Bye.